Okay guys, so today we're going to be doing a bit of a review on one of these Panda kits which I've only just picked up. Forgive the state of the box, I picked it up second hand off a guy fairly cheap. I actually got it for $30, so I'm just going to do a bit of a review on it. I know there's a few already out there, but I figured I'll just do a quick review on this and let you know what sort of a kit is inside it. Now this is the Panda ATV, the MRAP, the mine resistant ambush protected one. I haven't actually opened this kit. I've cut the tape, but I haven't actually been in there yet. But we'll have a quick look around the box. It's if you've seen Panda kits, they are quite nice box art and things like that. Some very nice little pictures around the outside. We have a model number of PH35001, and on this side here we have a couple of nice photos of the photo etch that's inside there as well. Most of you probably know that this kit is fairly detailed compared to, say, the Connect kit that's around. It has a bit more detail in it. Apparently the detailing in this is a bit more crisp and a bit closer to the mark. I'm not an expert on it, but have a quick look through our instructions here and see what we got as far as instructions go. Okay, general just layout of what the sprues there, what they entail. Now the instructions here seem to be, they're all black and white. And one of the things that's already stood out here, I've done a quick bit of a read on the internet about the instructions to go with this. Now, one of the problems is that people point out there's actually no paint colour call out all the way through this, and that could be a bit of a hassle. What you're going to have to do, guys, is have a bit of a look around on the internet, find out what your paint call outs are for, well, definitely the interior and chassis and engine and stuff like that. Looking at the instructions, they seem to be fairly detailed. Now the other thing is here, I know looking at the assemblies other people have done on the internet, the assembly is quite involved. There is a bit in that, just looking at those few pages there. This is just all suspension and the chassis work here, your diff and things like that, your drive box up here. Yeah, it's fairly detailed, but apparently one of the things that takes the longest, not so much to say detail, that apparently some of these call-outs may be wrong. I'm not sure if this version is corrected or not, or whether they have corrected any versions, but apparently some of the call-outs are wrong. So just test fit everything, guys, make sure everything goes together first before you start gluing it together. The other thing is that takes the time, apparently, is the flash. Apparently there's a lot of flash on some of these sprues, but I'll have a look at that as we go through the sprues, and we'll just check to see just how much flash there is on those. So far we're just going through, like I say, suspension, drivetrain, things like that. The chassis looks fairly detailed. Your tyres. Okay, then we start on the actual cab, like the floor, interior, stuff like that. Interior looks alright. Apparently the interior is a decal set for the gauges, but I'll check that as we go through the sprues. Yep, that's all the interior stuff there. Some nice harnesses and brakes around the seats, things like that. Yep, guards over the wheels start going on. We've got our boxes here, box build up for the guards over the wheels, framework, and then we start actually putting the frame and the chassis, frame and everything on the chassis, the base on the chassis, and this is where the actual cab assembly starts. You've got your doors here start, then your cab. Now I know the Panda and the Connect kit, there's a few differences apparently in size wise and even some of the detail and shape. Now I'm no expert on this, I haven't seen a lot of photos of the real thing and actually compared them, but you know, things like the mudguard, the shape around the mudguard is a little bit different from the Panda to the Connect kit, and apparently the Panda one's closer, but neither of them have got it exactly spot on apparently, so, but it still will look the part. So okay, we go into putting the top on there, your cab goes over the base, a bit of photo etch work there. Now the other problem apparently is they don't show you how to fold the photo etch that's in this kit. Okay, so as you see, it's quite a nice kit, a lot of detail and things like that, and I know just by looking at photos of built kits on the net it is a nice kit when it's done. So but the instructions look to be fine. It's just your basic layout, you know, it just shows you the part call out number, the number call out, and then just how they go together and what sequence and things like that. And a couple more diagrams on the back there. We'll just have a quick look for, there we go, That's our etch set. Okay. There's three lots of etch in there, and apparently we'll take them out just to check. Oh yeah, they've got the double layer of plastic on each side of these, so that's brilliant, guys. So what you can do is you can peel off the plastic on one side, do your cutting, and you haven't got parts flying away when they come off. We all know how hard etch can be to work with, especially small parts. Well, there's not any incredibly small parts on this, but yeah, it's nice to have that sort of detail to add to our kits, but that will take time. I mean, we all know that if you start adding photo etch, you actually start adding time to your builds. So from what I understand, Panda kit's a bit more complicated, a bit more detail, and with your photo etch and stuff like that. If you go towards the Connect kit, it's a bit quicker build because it hasn't got as much etch and things like that. Look on the decal sheet here, there's lots of the little tiny guys here. I don't see the gauges for the dash, so maybe I was incorrect in saying that they're decals, but we'll check that as we go through the sprues. But it's quite nice looking, the decal's fairly fine. I do see a couple little gauge looking things there, so we'll check that as we go through, guys. Okay, our first plastic bag here. Well, this one here, I'm not even going to worry about taking this out of the bag because this is obviously all your suspension work, springs and things like that. On second thoughts, I just will open it up because it's an interesting way. It's not stapled together or anything, it's just the plastic is tucked down between those sprues. So, okay guys, I'm just going to put my glasses on here just so I can see a little bit better to make sure. Okay, so there is a bit of flash on this, I can see, guys. It's not overwhelming. It's mind you, some of the parts are quite flashy. I'll try and get some of these right up into focus there for you if we can. I'll put the hand on there so it'll focus on the hand. You can see the flash around those. That's pretty bad. That's a lot of flash around those, but there's only a couple of parts that have that sort of flash. I can see flash on other bits. The little U-bolts down the front here have got a bit of flash. It will take a bit of cleaning up, and the problem with those is going to be, I'll bring this up into view as well. You can see those there, how fine they are. It's going to be hard to clean that flash off those because they're so tiny. But these are typical problems that if you enjoy building the kits, guys, like I do, I love actually having to clean parts up and get the kit to look right by having to do the cleaning. This looks like it's going to be a fun kit as far as that goes. A bit of flash around these bars here. Okay, so there is a bit of flash on the kit, and I sort of thought that would happen because I have to read that on the net. Okay, this bag here is stapled. Maybe the guy I bought this off had already opened that bag. Let's say that's what happened. So I'll quickly open this guy up. I am planning to do a build on this one fairly soon, guys. So. But I'm waiting for a detail set to come through before I do it, and when I get that detail set, and I'll let you know before I do the build, and I'll go through it bit by bit, and as I'm building it I'll actually put videos up for you guys to watch as it happens. Okay, we've got our doors here, we've got the boxes over the guards, a bit more framework, steering wheel, got the spring housings and things like that. But again, it's some beautiful detail on it, some really nice detail on there, guys. But it's a little bit of flash. I'm just gonna bring this camera in a little bit, guys. So that might do it. I just don't want too much of it to be out of frame for you, but I'd like it to be close enough so you can see some of the detail on some of these parts. Very nice. You can see this is going to actually build up to be very nice. You can see all the hinges and the bolts and things around the doors there. This looks like it's going to be, that's our underbody, that's the floor pan, there's our dash up here, guys. I'll get this up there so you can have a bit of a look. That's our dash, so no decals I don't think to go on that, but you can actually paint it. You've got 3 big gauges in here with no dials in them, and I didn't see dials on the decals, so that could be an issue, but yeah, I want to do the build, we'll look into that. But like I say, I'll just quickly check that decal sheet again, and yeah, there's definitely no, I can't see any, oh actually yeah, sorry guys, there is a couple of dials on there. one there, one there. I think they're dials. But yeah, I'll have to go back through the instruction sheet and check that. Knowing these instructions, they probably don't show you the call out to put the decals on there. From what I understand, they're pretty average. Okay, no, there's nothing there to say that there's decals to go on that dash. It just shows the board going in there. It hasn't got a paint call out or anything. So yeah, guys, I'm not sure. That's just going to be a bit of guesswork. Ah, here we go. Back page. I should have probably looked at that before, shouldn't I? Okay, that's our decal call out. Now it's pretty poor. It's very hard to see the numbers on that. I'm not sure if you can pick that up in the camera, but it's almost impossible to pick the numbers up. They've got a dark grey and black. I don't know why they would have done something like that, but yep, the gauges are there. So it looks like you're going to spend a bit of time gluing, putting decals onto your dashboard. Now, the areas where the areas where those decals go, have been. You can see those round parts in there, and that's where they go. So hopefully the decals will fit in those without having to trim them up too much. But yeah, that might take a bit of time as well. Now there is an Edward set that you can get. It's an interior set and it's self-adhesive, and it has got all the decals, all the self-adhesive gauges. It's got your harnesses for your seats and things like that. Very nice kit, and it's not that expensive because it's only a self-adhesive interior set. It's not exterior. But looking at everything else on here, some really nice looking mouldings on that. So that's that sprue there. Okay, I'm getting on now to, okay, this is more like our hatches up the top here, our machine gun turret guards, the back windows. Again, guys, it's all pretty similar. Not really nice detail on it, very nice detail, but the smaller parts, I can see smaller parts in there. They've got some terrible flash on them. So again, guys, it's going to take time to do cleaning on this, cleaning the kit up to get it all nice. When I go on, I'll take this one out and have a look, because I see quite a bit of flash on this guy. See how bad that actually is. Okay, so I can see a bit of flash on this. All these little guys down here, flash all over them. You've got all these now. The other thing looking at is your injector pin marks. Now, as I'm going through these sprues, it doesn't look like there's any that are going to be in areas that are going to show up. Most of them are on the back sides of things, undersides. There doesn't look to be any that I've seen so far that are going to stand out on the outside where they're going to have to be cleaned up. So that's good. That won't take too long. Okay. And again, here, these guys, this is part of your chassis, seat backs, things like that. It looks like your gearbox there. Diff housing. Again, a little bit of flash, but beautiful detail on that, guys. That's very nice. Okay, clear parts. Well, as you'd expect from the clear parts, there's a whole box full of goodies in there. They all look very nicely moulded. Doesn't look to be any flash on those guys, which that can be really painful on clear parts if there's flash, but that looks to be very nicely moulded, actually, those clear parts. Okay, our cab and our bonnet. I'll quickly open this bag up and have a look inside. Get those staples out. Okay, guys, so our bonnet now, this one here, I have no idea what's happened there, but it's something to do with poor packaging and something. It looks like it's actually melted into it, if you can see that. It doesn't look very good at all. It actually looks like something gone terribly astray in there. It really does look like it's melted, like something's melted and chewed into that plastic. That's terrible. I don't think, I wouldn't imagine all the kits are going to be like that. I'd say there's just something has got into this kit for some reason. This piece here looks fairly clean though, nothing on that. Again, really nice detail, all these bolt heads and things like on there. Not much flashing inside doors and stuff. Injector pin marks inside here, but there's a sealing that goes in there so you won't see any of those. Not on inside the doors. Yep, very nice. Now the tyres. Yeah, it's your old friend, the rubber tyres. I love these things. Some people prefer the plastic. You can do a lot more work on them. I love the rubber tyres. The only thing with rubber tyres is they're a bit harder to, like sand down, file down, but I love to weather these things. They're great. The other thing is you can see the seam well, that's not too bad actually. There's a slight seam on one side of that. Now see, I'm not sure if you can see that in the camera. The thing that was on the bonnet is also on that tyre. You can see that. It's like something's melted into there. There's like glue or something's ended up in there, but yeah, very nice those tyres, guys. I love those sorts of things. Okay, here again, it's just our own little bag of goodies. This is window frames, seat backs, things like that, and they're actually quite nice, guys. There's not much flash on those. The little pins down here haven't got any flash on them. All the injector pin marks have been hidden. Okay, so that's pretty much it, guys. That's what you get in the bag, in the box. Very nice box. It's pretty well jam packed with all the little goodies as you expect from a lot of kits these days. So just quickly, what I want to do is just talk about some of the things that I've read about this kit on the internet. Which now one of the biggest downfalls apparently that people are not happy about is that there's no engine in this kit, and just going through it then obviously there is no engine in there. Now there's not actually a detailed set come out yet for an engine for this thing, not that I could find on the internet, but apparently you can get it is the CMK M939 Cummins diesel 6-cylinder inline that will actually fit into this kit, and apparently it's the closest thing to the engine that is in this thing. So you can, if you want to put an engine in it and open your bonnet up and things like that, you can probably use that. Now I'm going to put links to all these down the bar below. I'll put pictures and stuff in this video as I'm talking, so you're not just seeing my hands flashing over the top of this box. I'll put some pictures up. The other thing is there is a beautiful photo-etched add-on kit. Now it's from Pro Art Models. Now this thing is superb, guys. I'll put some pictures up here and I'll put some links to it. Have a look at this because this thing is absolutely beautiful. It's a very involved add-on, lots of etch, lots of resin, things like that, but very, very fine detail, wiring. There's some really beautiful stuff in it. As I say, have a look at the links I'm going to provide you. Now it's not cheap, but if you want to do this thing to the best that it can be, I definitely would recommend getting that. Now that's the part I'm waiting on. That's the add-on kit that I'm waiting to turn up, and when I get that, we'll go through the build and I'll put it all together and stuff like that. Now that's going to be fairly involved, so I'm going to do it in small parts, and as I do it I'll put the uploads up rather than you having to wait for a month or more for me to build the thing and before I put it up in one big hit. Now there's like I mentioned before, there's a cheaper interior set from Edward. Now it's got your self-adhesive stuff for your seat belt harnesses, things like that, for your gauges and that on your instrument panel, which it may be worth it if you want to do up your details inside and have your doors open so people can look in. It may be worth actually forking out for that. There's also the Voyager etch set, which is more to the outside, like all up around our machine gun up the top here, our covers, our armor protection. It's all your etch parts for that, so you fold it up in etch and obviously it makes it look a lot finer. Little bits all around the outside like normal Voyager stuff, and I haven't seen any reviews on it being built with that yet, but I'm sure being Voyager it'll be a really nice set and probably worth the money, guys. But again, it depends on how much time you want to put into these things, how much detail you want in them. If you want to build it out of box, this is probably going to be a much more detailed set than the Connect kit. Connect kit will actually be a quicker build from what I've heard, not as much cleanup, not as much detail, and the assembly's a lot easier on it. So that's pretty much about all I got on there, guys. Again, the no paint call out, something I have to bring to your attention. There's no paint call out instructions. Look it up on the internet to find out what all your interior paint colours and stuff are. But have a look below, guys. I'm going to add lots of links down there for you to go and look this up, look at some finished models, look at some of the detail sets and all that sort of thing. So guys, I hope you enjoyed the review. I'm going to keep doing some more for you. If you don't like the reviews, let me know. If you do like them, let me know so I know whether to keep doing them or not. But yep, that's our review for our Panda MRAP. And I'll see you next video, guys. Thanks for watching.